So one of my agents, her name is Shirley McBurney. Shirley, if you're watching this, thank you very much. She sent me this article from propertyopinion.com. I'll put a link down for you guys, but I was astonished in reading this article, and I want to bring it to your attention, especially if you guys are interested in investing in real estate or tax deeds or anything real estate related. This is a good story to learn from and be cautious in terms of what you're investing in. The headline states, Miami-Dade County busted selling fake properties to a retired teacher. So it says this woman, she's a retired teacher. Unfortunately, she went back to teaching full-time because of this situation. But her name is Angelia. She purchased a property that didn't exist from the Miami-Dade County tax deed auction. The county knew it didn't exist and they sold it to her anyway. So it goes on to say she purchased a courtyard condominium that she hoped to rent out to a tenant. She also considered living in the condominium temporarily while she fixed it up. This was the courtyard of Hialeah 2 Apartments, Unit 202, Building J in Hialeah, Florida. It was listed on the Miami-Dade County auction site. This apartment community is built in 1965 and contains 60 units. Now it says she went to the site of the condominium during her basically due diligence and attempted to view the property before bidding on it, which is good. That's part of your due diligence. You want to make sure that you get out to the property. And it says the gate was closed and she was unable to gain entry to Building J. She did her best to look around and all she could really see was Building A and B. And so on January 16, 2020, she bid alongside several others and won Unit 202 in Building J for $6,100. It says a week later, she and a friend visited the property to view her new condominium. When she arrived, she began to search for Building J. She saw Building A, B, and C, but where was Building J? She began to get concerned. After much inquiry, she consulted a real estate agent who confirmed every investor's worst fear. There is no Building J. There is no Unit 202. There is no investment. And look, and I don't know what necessarily happened back in, I think it said the 1960s, but you know, when we go through real estate cycles, there are developers that will stop building or they'll go bankrupt or whatever the case is. And some of these condo builders, we have some that happen out here as well, where they anticipated on building, you know, say a total of 5-10 acres with multiple buildings. But because of the real estate market crashing or whatever the case is, they're only able to build a certain amount of buildings. Thus, the rest of the land is still there and it hasn't been built on, and that's what appears to be in this situation. She prepared herself to make phone calls and get it all straightened out. She called the property appraiser office, tax collector's office, and every department she could think of. An employee at the property appraiser office explained that the condominium association did intend to erect Building J, but for whatever reason, they did not complete the project. Basically what I was just saying before. As soon as they knew that the building was not going to be constructed, all of the previous approved properties were deleted from the system. Unit 202, however, remained. Since Unit 202 hypothetically existed on paper, it began to accrue taxes, and this resulted in tax deed sales. She consulted with an attorney. His name is Jeff Harrington. He agreed to take the case pro bono. Fantastic, Jeff. We appreciate that. Meaning he's not going to charge for any of his fees. He started by contacting Miami-Dade tax collector's office. Mendoza then referred Angelia and her attorney to Leslie Rodriguez at the Miami-Dade Property Appraiser Office. This is where it gets good. Rodriguez stated 3 very clear positions. First, she asserted that the county has every right to sell non-existing property to the public. Again, this is from this article. Whether this conversation took place or not, I don't know, but this is in this article. Secondly, it said if Angelia does not pay the upcoming yearly taxes on the non-existing property, it'll be seized from her and sold at auction once more to another hopeless victim. And lastly, Unit 202 is not the only one. There are more. There are others. There are other units that have never existed being bought and sold and taxed at Miami-Dade auctions. She inquired if there's any way to get her money back and was completely flat out denied. She argued that if she as a private citizen were to sell someone a condo, only for it to be discovered as non-existing and fraudulent, she would be arrested. And then goes on to say, why is it then acceptable for our government to exploit a private citizen? So she tried to get a little creative, which I appreciate, and decided that she wanted to basically build on the property a small residence on the land, and stated it would be a modest 1-bed, 1-bath home. It would involve investing in more money, but despite of that, she could be happy there. Her plans yet came to a screeching halt when she was informed that she had no right to build there or even stand there because Unit 202 was on the 2nd floor. And with it being inside of an association as well, she was pretty much in, there's not much she could do. The law firm that I mentioned earlier, they are putting together a class action lawsuit, which is probably one of the reasons why he did it pro bono. Unfortunately, the problem is a lot of people that are in this situation, if they do a class action lawsuit, they're probably going to get pennies on the dollar if and when they do win this lawsuit. And I think that the laws definitely need to change. There's no doubt about it. So I'm sure that these laws will change in terms of not being able to sell non-existing tax deeds. And I think it's just a horrible thing to do to anybody. But what could you do if you're in a situation you want to buy any kind of real estate or tax deed sales or whatever the case is? For one thing, you want to do your due diligence yourself in the beginning. You want to actually pull up that property. Most properties in most counties have a property appraiser website. All right, so whatever your county is, type that county plus property appraiser website, and it'll pop up. There you can go to the search button and type in the address, and you can read all the details about that property. And you're gonna see whether that property's been sold. You're gonna see details of the property, beds, baths, square footage, and so forth. And one thing that she could have picked up very quickly, when you pull up the property appraiser report, it basically has 0 square footage, which should be the first red flag that should have been drawn up. Just seeing that, okay, you have a condo that has 0 square footage, there's something that you need to look into more detail about. The second thing is you can do a title search. You can do a full-on title search. A lot of these companies in the state of Florida charge from anywhere from like $50 to $200 to do basically just a title search. Now that does not include title insurance, which is a whole other video that I could do on, but basically you could do a preliminary title search to ensure that basically you are getting what they are basically saying you are getting. And lastly, you can obviously hire a real estate attorney to assist you. I'm a big believer in extra eyes and ears on any kind of acquisition, especially auction properties. Especially, we do have other investors we've dealt with in the past who have bought auction properties from the county. They did their title search, but they did not get title insurance, and ultimately second liens popped up out of nowhere, and ultimately they basically had to service that debt because that lien was never cleared up. So there are a lot of things that you guys got to be cautious about when you're buying into any kind of real estate or tax deed sales. And I just want to bring this article, and I appreciate Shirley putting this in front of me as well, because I think this is a very good article to learn from. And I will put an the link down in the description for you guys as well, so be sure to check that out. And I appreciate everything, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks a lot.